Shedeur Sanders, he's looking like he's preparing, locked and loaded. More videos surface of Shedeur throwing the football, even getting that conditioning in. I've always said it, man. When training camp comes around, this is a new type of breed. I'm going to tell you why I'm excited to see this training camp, because it looks like Shedeur is locked in and ready to go for training camp. And now we're going to see the real battle. We'll talk about that coming up next on this episode of The Ultimate Browns. Welcome to the fastest 30 minutes in all of sports. It's your boy G. Bush back at it again with the Ultimate Browns. As always, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the UCSS, all of the spinoff shows. And we got a great show planned for you as always over here at the Ultimate Browns. We will get to predicting who will be the Browns' top running back. And is it a case for Quinshon Judkins or Dylan Sampson to be a primetime, game-changing running back for the Cleveland Browns? We'll talk about that as well. We got a clip from Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Tyvis Powell talks about what he thinks and why one of these two running backs he believes can be an elite playmaker for the Cleveland Browns this year. Also, on a sadder note, I was on YouTube and on Twitter and different things. Nick Chubb had his farewell. And you know what the crazy part about it is? Nick Chubb knew he wasn't coming back in February. That was crazy. It didn't look like the Cleveland Browns even offered him a contract or reached out to him. We'll show you the video of the tearful, emotional farewell to the Cleveland Browns fans. Nick Chubb had that in a video he took. I'll share that with you guys and get your thoughts and ask, do the Cleveland Browns, is this going to come back to haunt us? Because he's still in the AFC with the Houston Texans. We'll talk about that as well. But first, before we get to any of that, let's get to what we came to get to. Shedeur Sanders is locked and loaded, ready for training camp. And a lot of people are saying, G. Bush, stop making these doggone videos about Shedeur Sanders. Why not? Why would I do that? Because I actually think that, he's going to be a quarterback. I think that you got a franchise quarterback there. I think you got something. And the thing that I always want to see is when the pads get on and we start talking about football, we're going to have an opportunity to see the real quarterback battle. Right now, we ain't seen no battle. We ain't seen no battle. We ain't seen nothing. We've seen reps and shorts. And the great thing about football is you can't hide from the competition. The competition truly starts during training camp. The OTAs is cool. Mini camps is cool. Rookie camp is cool. But when you get to the training camps, you're going to see the real quarterback competition, because now there's no hiding. All of these guys are going to get an opportunity to play in these preseason games. And these preseason games are going to be the talk of not only Cleveland, not only the AFC North, but the entire league is going to want to see these young quarterbacks as they see what they got and to see if the Cleveland Browns have truly a franchise quarterback. So when you look at this and look at some of this stuff in context, does these videos mean right here that because Shedeur Sanders is working out that he's going to go by here and dominate? No. What it means is I like his mindset. I think he understands where he needs to go. He understands what level he has to play at. He understands what monumental task is in front of him. Now it's prove it time. Now it's show me time. See, it's easy, and I'll give people credit for this. Look, it's easy to be a detractor when it's you playing in shorts. Guys are not, nobody's tackling. You're not playing against other teams. It's easy to be dismissive and say, well, whatever. He's whatever. He's a guy that's a downliner. It's easy to do. And you know what? To some people, that's their prerogative. Like, show me. Like, that's what a lot of people are saying. If you notice, I don't never get mad at people. I don't never get mad at people who say and will disagree and say, well, look, I think Shedeur is nice. I think he has some talent, but I want to see it on the field. I'm never going to be mad at you about that. I'm never going to be salty at you about that. That's just regular competition. I come from that. The problem I have is if you don't get a fair opportunity to show what you can do, to be a fair competition, to be a true competition, you got to have the opportunities. And you got to have the opportunities to figure out about a person and to see what it is. And so as we embark into the season, as we are a week, less than a couple of weeks from reporting to training camp, I'm looking at mindset. I'm looking at what are you doing to get better? And I'm also looking to see if you're flipping that switch. And I think when you take a look at this, you're going to see that Shedeur Sanders is out here cooking right now. This I like this little piece. I don't know if this is his song or what he's saying, or and there's some music in there. Hopefully it was not copywritten, because I will take it back out. But this is some footage of Shedeur Sanders back in Texas. He went back to see his father. He's at the prime compound putting that work in. And I'm looking, and he put this video out, and he's just letting people know, hey, it's about the work. This is courtesy. This is on Twitter, courtesy of I believe this is Shedeur's Twitter page. But check this out. And you see what type of grind it is. He feel like it seems like a Rocky-esque movie. I like it. See, this is the thing that I always say. You can be a detractor all you want, man, but you can't deny somebody that's putting that work in. And I like it. I know people will say, "All right, well, listen, man, people like to say, I don't like when people flash jewelry, or I don't like cars, or I don't like when people is out there doing things, and you don't like when people is doing too much stuff on the internet. You just want people to be, it is what it is." But then again, if you don't like that, you can't be mad at somebody showing the work. He's showing the work. And right now, I think it's about time to lock in. I think he's flipping the switch a little bit, because, all the back and forth is over. Now it's show and prove time. See, the battle was before against people that may say certain things or not want to give you your credit, or say you're a 5th round pick and all that good stuff. But guess what? All that moves to the sidelines right now, because now you get your opportunity to prove it. You're going to get a chance to prove it in the practices every day. You're going to get a chance to prove it in inter-squad scrimmages with the Panthers and the Eagles. You're going to get a chance to prove it when it comes to these reps during these games prior to the preseason games. You're going to get the opportunity. The adversary is switched. The adversary is not the media. The adversary is not the people detractors. The adversary is actually lining up with helmets now. The adversary is wearing different jerseys. The adversary is the defensive ends trying to get upfield to sack you. The adversary is defensive backs disguising coverage, jumping routes. That's where you're going to find it. And I think it's important that he does transition from, yeah, that was cool, to now we locking in. Because all that other stuff that we was doing before really don't matter. You go back and forth. I could, and this is the thing too. I could be the greatest to Shedeur Sanders. I can think he's the best quarterback in the world. It don't mean nothing. He has to go back and play. It don't mean nothing that I think that he can ball out. He has to do it. And that's the best thing about sports, man. I say it all the time. People always want to say, I mean, how realistic is the guy going to be this? How realistic is it going to be this? How realistic is it this and that and this? And it's a long shot and all this. Listen, bro, it don't matter what long shot you think it is. That's the point I be trying to talk to people about sports. People telling themselves all the time, when you can tell somebody has not played nothing a day in their life, when they start to say, well, my expectation level was that he was not going to play. I know you didn't play anything. I know you just told on yourself. He's a certain round pick. I would be glad in this city when we get to a point, and this goes for baseball, basketball, and football. I would love to get to a point in this city where people evaluate people based on, how can I get the most out of somebody? Where do I see this person being developed? Where can I find a diamond in the rough? Where can I go around and figure out how do I put this guy in the best position to accentuate his skill set, instead of saying that everybody's going to come in and they're going to be a finished product. And if you're not a finished product today, you're not good. And if you're drafted outside of a second round, you're not good. See, that's your problem. You can't win anything because you're thinking in a loser's mentality. My goal is to find talent wherever I can get it. And the premium is getting talent when you didn't think you could. You know the difference between championship organizations and teams that lose all the time? Championship organizations find guys that nobody else saw something in. Championship organizations find diamonds in the rough. They find people that they can turn over stones. They can find options for people to play. They can look at a person and everybody can see the shortcomings. They can look at a person and say, I think I could do something with that person. And you're not going to win championships unless you have people on your team that are in the margins that can fill a role and do what you need to do. And by the way, that's how sports goes. It don't matter what you think. It's about doing. Speaking of doing, he dropped some more. This week is the whole fit. You see him out here putting on that work? I like it. I want you to be out there in training camp mode. You see what I'm saying? I like the fact that you out there. It ain't never gonna be hot as it is in Texas. It ain't gonna never be as hot as it is in Texas. Did that look like Deontay Johnson? No, that might not be him. I don't know. I like it. I like the progression. I like what you're doing. It's always going to be hot. It's going to be, he's controlling what he can control. And I like the fact that you're ramping up right now. You're getting it a month in advance. I need you to be in shape and condition. I need your arm to be ready to go. Here's the thing. If you're not getting the level of reps that you want, if you're not getting the level of reps that you wanted to get in OTAs and rookie camp and all those things in the offseason program, you can't be going into camp and talking about my arm is sore. Nah, bro, you got to be ready. You can't be going into camp thinking, oh, well, listen, I'm going to sit out of practice. Shedeur Sanders will sit out because of some arm tightness. That one day you sit out could be the difference between somebody else on the field and you. You need to be locked and loaded. You can't miss no reps. And every throw that you get, you better be ready. Ain't no, I was rusty, I was tired. Nah, every rep counts. So what I'm looking at right now, he's in Florida, he's in Texas, he's showing up and proving what he can do. And now It's really time for the real quarterback battle. And this is where it don't matter what I say, Mary Kay, Tony Grossi, or even the front office. Now it's about proving it. And we're going to see what's going on. Coming up next, talking about, speaking of, we get to the Cleveland Browns and we give it to Nick Chubb, man, one of the best to do it. He knew a little bit earlier than we did that he wasn't coming back. We'll take a look at the footage of Nick Chubb and what happened with him, and the tearful farewell he had leaving Berea one cold February day when he realized he was not going to be part of the Cleveland Browns. We'll come back and talk about that right here on this episode of The Ultimate Browns. There is nothing like the energy of a live game, whether it's catching up a last-minute Major League Baseball showdown or soaking in the excitement of an NBA matchup. But finding great seats at a great price, that used to be a challenge. But until I found out that Game Time makes everything more simple. Game Time makes scoring last-minute tickets easier than ever. Prices actually drop as the event gets closer. And with all-in pricing, you see the total cost up front, no surprises at checkout. Hey, listen, what I love the most is you can grab last-minute seats for whatever game, if you're in Cleveland, whether it's the Cavs, Guardians, or the Browns, and save big money on their zone deals. You get that peace of mind. Each of your seat views are there before you actually buy, and no surprise fees, and the lowest prices guaranteed. They also give you the guarantee that their prices, low price guarantee means I never worry about overpaying for any of my live tickets or concerts. Right now, take the guesswork out of buying these tickets on Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code word LOCKED ON for $20 off of your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's the code word LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. What time is it? Game time. Welcome back to the fastest 30 minutes in the sports. It's your boy G. Bush with the Ultimate Browns. Make sure you subscribe and make sure you're checking out the spinoffs, because this is your one-stop shop for all things Cleveland Browns going into training camp. Let's talk about it a little bit on a sad note. Nick Chubb signed with the Houston Texans this offseason. It was kind of wild. I was beating the drum for Nick Chubb to return and at least finish his career out the way I think he should have with a Cleveland Browns jersey. Unfortunately, didn't happen. But lo and behold, we see some footage that was dropped from Nick Chubb on Twitter, and he kind of always realized that might be last year, might be his last year, as he walked out during the, in the wintertime when the season was over. And he kind of felt like he was not going to be able to come back. I'll let you guys take a look at this, and then we'll get into this, whether or not do you think this is going to come back and haunt the Cleveland Browns, because he does play for the Texans. Texans smoked the Browns a couple years in the playoffs. C.J. Stroud, they got Joe Mixon over there. They got a lot of weapons on the offensive side. The Texans are poised to be a playoff team again. Will this come back to haunt the Cleveland Browns? We'll take a look at this right now.
Could be my last time leaving here. Got here when I was 22. Grew up here. I mean, the biggest thing for me is the relationships I made here in Cleveland. Over 7 years. I'm super close to everyone. Finally opened up to them. Now I got to start all over. Meeting new people is always hard for me. I wouldn't go out my way and talk to you. That's how I start to know you. So I guess that's just, new city, new people, new everything. Everyone embraced me. The city, the fans, the team. And I learned so much here. I pretty much, became a man here from 22 to 29. Just grateful and just probably looking forward to the next level, the next jump.
I rarely get emotional about players when they leave because I understand it's a business and just it's part of the business. And part of covering people is part of the team stays and players always you're always going to leave, you're always going to retire. One day you're not going to be playing for that team, whether it's now or at the end of your career. We all know that. But the thing that it saddens me a little bit is, I just don't understand it. You know, from the looks of that, they never even really took time to even think about giving Nick Chubb an opportunity to come back. It seems like the Cleveland Browns had already made up their mind in the decision that Nick Chubb was washed, couldn't play, didn't see what they wanted to see from him. They drafted 2 running backs in the draft. He kept Jerome Ford, but you asked Jerome Ford to take a pay cut. He took a pay cut. I think if he wouldn't have took the pay cut, I think there would have opened some doors that maybe Nick Chubb could have come back. But here's my point. And I'm going to take this in a different way. Here's why I don't care about people pounding the table for all this off season and off the court stuff. You look in our world right now, and you got people doing whatever they want at the highest levels of power in our country. And people are complicit. It's just like whatever. They just keep going about their lives, put their head in the sand and say, well, that's just the way it is. But I always got a problem with those same people coming down to the level of sports trying to play this virtual signal game as if it matters down here. It don't matter nowhere else in your real life, in your city, your county, your governments, your country. It don't matter. None of that matters. But you want to come post up in sports and point the finger at people saying, oh, he got in trouble. Oh, he was speeding. Or he was doing this and he was doing that. Shut up. Before we used to fall for it. We used to fall for it all the time. Because we would get amped up and we would feel like, oh, well, we got to scold these guys. We got to hold these players accountable. They're making millions of dollars. And they make you feel like, okay, I got to take a stand on every single thing. And then I realized, no, you don't. Because for every person that does do something incorrectly, teams will keep them on their rosters if it's mutually beneficial. If it's mutually beneficial and the person can play, they don't care what you do. They'll get you out of jail and come back and play you. You can go to jail and do whatever. As long as you can still do what they think that you can do, and you can help the team, you're on the team. It's just the way it is. But look, if you look at a guy like Nick Chubb, who is clearly emotional in the picture, clearly one of the best human beings, clearly one of the flagship pillar guys, stands on business, guy of integrity, soft-spoken. All he did was go out there and leave his mind, body, and soul on the field. But when it came for time for the Cleveland Browns to decide whether or not they were going to keep him in the fold, when they could have probably got it for cheaper, when they could have done something, guess what? They decided we're going to keep Jerome Ford. It's a dog-eat-dog world. Who would have ever thought that Jerome Ford would be more valuable than Nick Chubb? And then you realize they don't care nothing about none of that stuff. You can be the greatest person in the world. NFL stands for not for long. So if Nick Chubb can roll out and he can be bounced out and nobody looking for him, why should I care what any of them do? Because it's all false. It's all an act. It's all a ruse. They don't care about no integrity, because if so, he would have retired as a Cleveland Brown. If so, there would be no realm of possibility where Nick Chubb does not retire as a Cleveland Brown. And for me, I'm here to tell you, certain things matter to me. Certain things matter to me. Certain things like taking care of your stars. You know what I respect about the Lakers, though, and other teams like that? I respect the fact that they took care of their people. They always took care of Magic. When Kobe was getting paid all that money, at the end of his career, coming back from the Achilles and stuff, they always made sure Kobe was good because they wanted to make sure that people understood the Lakers were different. The Lakers are different. We run our organization where our stars matter. Our foundational pieces matter. And we take care of the guys that take care of us. We take care of our legends. That's worth something. It is. It's worth something when Ray Lewis plays for one team. It's worth something when Ed Reed plays for one squad. It's worth something when Jonathan Ogden. It's worth something that Ben Roethlisberger played for one squad, or you look at you take a look at Hayward. It means something. And so for me, it was bittersweet seeing it because to a certain extent, it really pushed me to a place where, I'm not gonna be one of those guys that's getting in arguments with people on Twitter about what guys are doing. I don't care outside of that football field, and I'm not even saying like come on, if you going out there doing heinous stuff, like you're never gonna see me defend nobody like Kellen Winslow. But if it's stuff other than that, because I can't take it seriously. I can't take the NFL seriously. I can't take certain fans seriously when they come up with these comments about character when the best dude that you've seen, one of the greatest Cleveland Browns, one of the dudes with the best integrity, the most like the teams, the pros pro, they got him up out here without a second thought. And they could have got him for cheaper. They didn't even offer him the contract. So it sucks to see Nick Chubb go. I'm happy that he gets to continue his career on somewhere else where somebody does want him. I'll be rooting for Nick Chubb. And I hope this doesn't come back to bite the Cleveland Browns in the butt. Because like I told people before, I think Nick Chubb comes back, and I think he's going to be a productive running back next year. He's going to add a lot of character to their locker room. He's going to add a lot to that offense, and he's going to add a lot in terms of their running game. The Texans got better with Nick Chubb. Anytime you get a Nick Chubb, you're better. On the field, off the field, and just the way that the impact on your culture overall. Sad to see him go, but I'm not talking all that virtuous stuff that people be trying to get mad about. That don't matter. The NFL stands for not for long. It's all about what you can do for them. And when you can't do it for them no more, bye-bye. Speaking of, we're not ready to go bye-bye yet. Let's go. We got one more segment to go. Speaking of running backs, Browns got rid of Nick Chubb, didn't re-sign him, but they got two running backs, Dylan Sampson and Quinshon Judkins. We'll come back and see and talk about whether one of those dudes can be a special running back for him. And we'll hear a clip from Tyvis Powell on what he thinks about that. You're listening to The Ultimate Browns. Full swing and every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot or a breakout player, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live with player props, performance trends, same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. Which players are showing up in the biggest moments, and how could tracking their trends help you build your next big bet? What would it look like to combine live prop bets mid-game based on how action unfolds? How could a $200 bonus in bonus bets add to the excitement if your first $5 bet hits? New to FanDuel? It's a perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com/UCSS and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. We are back on The Ultimate Browns. Your boy G. Bush right back at it. Let's talk a little bit about missing Nick Chubb. Quinshon Judkins is a guy who was highly entitled coming out of Ohio State, played for Ole Miss as well. has a dynamic ability to be a bruiser, still has some breakaway speed, and he might be a guy that's going to be the bell cow back. We'll listen to this clip from Tyvis Powell on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, and he talks about why they believe that Quinshon Judkins could be a guy that could lead all rookies in rushing. And does he think that Dylan Sampson is going to be a person that's in the mix as well? Take a listen to this clip.
Because you're the first back taken does not mean you end up being the best back on the pro level. So what do you need to see from Judkins and Sampson, and how probable do you think it is that they could turn out to be the best back here?
The best rookie back. 50%. I give it a 50% chance because of the simple fact that, you know, when you look at the Cleveland Browns, I like the Kevin system. I think that if this offensive line can hold up, they've shown and proved. Nick Chubb has proved that you can run the ball successfully here. And I think that if you look at both of those guys, more so Judkins, you know, he's more of a power back. He's one of those guys that knows how to break tackles. Don't sleep on Sampson. Although he's small, that dude got a lot of balance. You know, I did a film study of him when Ohio State was playing him in the first round. Now, he didn't play that game because I think he was dealing with a foot injury or a toe injury or something like that. But he's got really good balance, and if his offensive line give him a good room, he can make some people, you know, miss and things like that as well. So I give him a 50% chance. I mean, running back is one of those things that's hit and miss. You know, you got guys that go in the first round all the time and don't necessarily hit it, you know, the first year at least. And I think that when you look at these guys right here, I think that they're going to get a boatload of the carries. You know, they are the offense. When you look at our passing situation right now, you know, the quarterback is already murky, and you got Jerry Jeudy, but we don't know if we can get him the ball, and teams is going to play towards Jerry Jeudy. David Njoku is very inconsistent, and Harold Fanning, we don't know. So I think that with that being said, the one thing that we know that we can do is run the ball.
That was Tyvis Powell on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show talking about whether or not you can see Quinshon Judkins as a guy that can be a bell cow back and potentially be one of the top rookies in this class. And I think he can. As a matter of fact, I'm expecting him to. I think that Quinshon, first of all, the number 10 is fire. I like the 10. Looks nice. Looks nice. He, I think he's one of those running backs that you watch. And this happens with running backs a lot when you watch them in college. The running backs who you think are nice may turn out not to be as good as you thought they were in the league because it's a different style of game. You're not having, you know, the numbers situation. Like, you know, the hashes aren't wide. So in the NFL, the hashes are shorter. So that means everything is more condensed. It's in a phone booth. You can spread teams out in college because the hashes are so wide. So you could put your receivers out there. Now your DBs and safeties are out there. Your linebackers are spread out. So now all you got to do is really read the hole and read the spacing. It's a numbers game. So there's a lot more wide open holes and a lot more wide open lanes to get to in college rather than it is when you get to the NFL. That's why when you get to the NFL, you see certain running backs that are really dynamic. You say, wow, man, this guy was a 4th round pick from so-and-so. How is he balling like this? Well, a lot of times, you know, they don't have sophisticated type running schemes in college. They're just like, okay, we're going to run some duo. We're going to run some zone, maybe a little bit of stretch. We're going to stretch people out and do different things. And in the league, you got a lot of stuff. They run all kind of different random, just, you know, they can, you know, the double teams, the zones, the stretches, you know, all of the stuff that people are really creative with. The Browns will pull guards. The Browns at certain times will pull centers. And they do a lot of good things, especially when it comes to tight ends, because you got tight ends that can block pretty well as well. So, you know, he's one of those guys that I think can transition and be one of them dudes who you say, well, man, I know he was a 2-headed monster with Travion Henderson in Ohio State, but I didn't know he was this good. He has the balance. He has the body. He has the physicality to make a first guy miss. Also has some speed. I don't think he quite has the longest speed like Chubb did in his prime. See, what people don't understand is Nick Chubb Chubb had elite vision. He had the cutback ability vision. He made the first guy miss more than anybody that I've seen in my life. The fact that he has the crazy stiff arm. He can run through you. He can run around you. And when Nick Chubb broke, there wasn't no catching Nick Chubb. Go watch some highlights. It don't even look like he's running that fast. Go back and watch that Bengals highlight where he weaved through the middle of the defense. Go back and watch a couple of years ago when he ran that long run against the Falcons. So when you look at Nick Chubb, that's what made him rare. And so when you look at Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson, and Dylan Sampson is a sleeper, man. I liked him coming out of Tennessee. 1,500 yards, 20-some touchdowns. For a small dude, he runs the ball hard. He has great burst. He gets the ball out of the backfield. And what Tyver said is true. You're going to need a strong running game. And one of the things that even when we go back to the quarterback situation, you know, Dylan Gabriel at Oregon or even Shedeur Sanders to a certain extent, they're gonna benefit from being under center, because under center it's ambiguous. When you're in shotgun all the time, it's hard to fool people. When you're in shotgun and you got 3 receivers on the field at all times, you're really not selling the run. The run is not your first option, and the run is not scaring nobody. But when you get under center, you could do multiple things. It could be screen, it could be play action, it could be 5-step, it could be 3-step. It's so much that you can do under center. It just takes a longer time to learn the steps, the footwork to make it look like that. But neither one of them guys, where I would say, had crazy run games, especially Shedeur. So he could be even more it could even be more beneficial to him if you start one of the younger rookies, if they get in the season and you have a consistent running game that you can get 4 or 5 yards in chunk plays. And then now on non-obvious downs, you could do a lot of different things moving around and making sure that you're getting the ball out and being accurate. So for me, I think Judkins is going to be the bell cow back. And like I said before, and I stand on what I'm saying, if you're going to be talking about this, if you're going to be saying that the Browns ain't doing this and ain't doing that, they need to be playing these rookies. They need to be playing and developing these guys so that we understand and can know what we got. It is time out for guys acting like, no, we don't need to be playing this person or that person. No. It's time out for that. We need to start to see these guys, and Dylan Sampson and Judkins is the guys I want to see. I've seen what Jerome Ford can do. I'm ready for a new look at somebody, and I think these two guys are gonna be dynamic in the run game as well as the pass game. With that being said, you never know what G. Bush might show up on radio, television. But if you want the fresh cut, always listen. I keep the Clippers with me, and I always got the Clippers ready to go in the barbershop, as you know what we'll do over here. With that being said, you have a great rest of your week, and as always, the most important thing: go Browns.